You're the only replay in the world to me.
Hey, Daddy, look at him. It's so blue. Daddy, see the blue?
Yes, that's orange, baby. You're colorblind. Welcome back to the channel, lads and ladies, and welcome to Derptenk in a true derp tank. The American 75mm motor gun carriage, a heavy-hitting light vehicle that's been in the American line for ages. One of the key features of this semi-Sherman having boy is its awkward gun handling. Its overly long reload. Look at how long that reload is. Much longer than the Sherman itself, with essentially the same cannon and much more accessibility. Honestly, this thing should have about a 5-second reload, but I think it's just a legacy of when the American 75 was considered too strong for this battle rating, and so they artificially nerfed the reload rate. Meanwhile, we have things like the Sonderkraftfahrzeug 4 that has a much more powerful 75 at a similar battle rating, better mobility, better gun handling, better in every regard, really, especially when it comes to reload rate. I think this is just sort of some of that territory that hasn't been explored for a while. It's not to say that the 75 GMC is a bad vehicle by any means, but it definitely feels the effect of that artificially extended reload time. All of that set aside, the vehicle performs quite well, as it performs well in the hands of Derptenk here. With slightly more survivability than your average wheelie boy, he manages to pick up a quick 5 kills. Not bad. Now, get rid of all of that regular AP and trade it in for AP HE God rounds, please. Pedro Enzo, 2008, member of the Cult of Cone, sending in a replay. Cone of Arc, a friend of the channel, a memester, and recently stirring up a little bit of controversy with Vidi, but you know what? Boys will be boys. I think I've learned to steer clear of War Thunder drama. We'll see how that pans out. But honestly, guys, just be kind to each other and give each other some slack. And if a memester is memeing on you, man, that's just like it's what he do. It doesn't mean he doesn't like you. Anyway, Pedro Enzo, now performing nicely in the hydrocephalic Swedish boy. What happens if a Panzer 38T subscribes to inflation material? Well, you get something like the monstrosity you see before you. And you say, Toshio, what is the vehicle designation of this sweetie boy? And I say, it's gonna be a while before I remember the proper names for these tanks, especially since Swedish designations make no sense to me, so I'm gonna need the proper assembly tool to get that code stacked in my brain the right way. Moving on, and picking up his 4th kill already, Pedro in a lovely hold down position, hiding, as it were, in plain sight, using his good gun depression and fantastic cannon to good effect here. The enemy cannot kill what they do not even shoot at. Catching enemies as they position, using his binoculars to spot foes from his nice hull down position. We see the advantage of visibility and the powerful cannon on this tank. It's by no means overpowered at any tier, I should say, as its lack of armor is apparent, and already having suffered the death of 2 crew members in the box, which is no doubt not a pleasant experience to be around those decaying pixels. But the open top of this vehicle makes it very susceptible to aircraft gunfire of all kinds, including bombs and rockets. Can we get? Nope, not quite ready to take down that quick-moving foe, but a second, this one, a T-34, not so lucky. Crew knocked out of the gas tank, as you do. That's right. Fuel tanks do still explode as though they were an ammo rack occasionally in the game of War Thunder when taking severe damage, and Gaijin will clear up all confusion about the matter by telling you that the crew was knocked out, not fuel tank detonation the way it should be. Of course, many patches ago, there was an update note that fuel tank detonations have been removed from the game. Indeed they have. They've been renamed to crew knocked out and left exactly the way they were before. Welcome to the way Gaijin fixes bugs. It's not like that every time, but sometimes it seems like it's like that every time. Pedro, even more consistent than Gaijin's bug reports, or sorry, their bug fix reports. Getting his 8th kill in almost as many shots, really making best use of this hold down position. It's not generally a spot on the map that you would expect sitting here in what could be considered out in the open, in between the sea point and the spawn, and holding down enemy avenues of advance. And yet, a hold down position can be put to good effect, as we see. He's been essentially camping this spot, but we'll call this area denial. The meta of War Thunder, of course, being to kill an enemy who doesn't have an easy shot on you. That is the dream. And making good use of binoculars and the third-person view to identify targets, using hard cover and allies who are spread out, distracting and occupying the enemy, is definitely one of the most reliable ways to do well at every level of War Thunder. Having a glass cannon derp gun doesn't hurt either. And again, the considerable amounts of depression that this Nordic vehicle is capable of experiencing definitely comes in handy for that playstyle. You've got enemy KVs and T-34s pretending that armor is a thing. You've got speedy boy aggressive Americans pressing W to win. And you've got Pedro Enzo set up in a good spot that's not so popular that everyone understands how to counter it. And you've got our guy having a good time in Swedish tanks. The phantom engine of the potato truck comes in handy here. The cowling much larger than the hitbox of the potato truck's engine block coming through for him where his firepower could not. It's rare that you'll see this Swedish tank absorbing shots, but some rapid fire 23 mils and the like might just manage to not deal crippling damage to you every second Sunday. Pedro, back to his old game, trying to rack up some more kills, counting up from 10. An incredible number, now risen even further as the coffin for, 7 brothers, claims more victims. Scuppy, give me the cereal. Never pick up things off the counter. Do you want some cereal? Okay, you need to ask. Yeah, you need a bowl. Okay, go get a bowl. You need some milk? Okay, I might have my work cut out for me here. How much more replay do I have? I do have a long ways to go, so I'm going to cut it here, and I'll come back for a take 2. Catch you guys in a minute. Da-da, Welcome back to the channel, lads and ladies. Sorry, I don't need to do my intro again. I'm back. It's just around lunchtime here. Baby Chonky is down for a nap, and Brooklyn is eating chicken nuggies with dip. That is ketchup. She calls it spicy dip. Do not question her. She will not listen to reason. And my lunch is just about done heating up in the microwave. Some delightful stir fry that I made myself. I decided to add a little bit of cheese to it. And definitely cheesing the War Thunder meta as Pedro Enzo continues to make an impact on this battle, up to an incredible 12 kills, interdicting enemy vehicles as they move into the combat zone, supporting his team very well, you might even say, carrying them on his back while remaining mostly static. A fantastic camping position, if such can be said, of the spot. And yet a vehicle and a choice of location, both exposed very much to enemy aircraft if such happen to be patrolling the battlefield. And that really goes to show that there are a number of winning strategies in War Thunder that don't win every time. But when they do, they really do. And that's another reason to be diverse in your strategy. When things go wrong, it's a time to reflect, not on how broken and BS the game is, be that as it may. Crying into your milk will not solve your issues. Instead, I say, rise up, grab that spoon, fling your cereal bowl across the room, and come up with a new strategy. When you get knocked down, when you get fed a nasty breakfast, it's time to get cooking. Cook up some new strategies. Toast up a nice spot to blow away the enemy. And a Wagner Valkyrie here in the ME 410, whatever it is. I think this is one of the early models. Heavy fighter coming into support an allied high-altitude bomber, the infamous BV-238, and absolutely shredderizing the enemy F4U. I'm going to cough. Sorry about that. Got a little bit of acid creeping up from my stomach toward my larynx on account of it is lunchtime. I've been cooking food, and my rumbly tumbly is ready for some feeding. Sounds like Brooklyn's just about done with those chicken nuggies as well, but I had the forethought. Well, actually, she told me to. As the flaps tear on a P-38, no surprise there, and not enough energy to pull those kinds of defensive maneuvers against an ME-410. That might as well be me, for the fact that that also happened when I was facing a 410. I just thought he didn't have enough energy, but he did. You can see we're in cinematic mode here, and I was going to say that Brooklyn has her tablet up in her high chair, so she is the queen of the kitchen expanse right now. Everything the light touches is her kingdom. Anyway, I've been following the Mountain Blade Reddit. Total change of subject, but fans of the channel, as Valky gets his third kill, beautiful head versus top side against a P-39, and P-38 comes in for the head-on and falls to superior forward-facing firepower enemy. What is that, P-47? I don't know, is that enough tracer for a P-47? I mean, if you're rocking the jug, you gotta run tracer belts, just for the memes. They do a good amount of damage as well. Valky about to finish off his ace, a quick 5 kills in the ME-410, but he might not get it with that one. Dipping up for another P-39, Cobra, pulling some maneuvers that are not going to keep him away from Valky's guns as much as they nose him toward another Teutonic foe. Looks like he got a couple of hits there, and the enemy may have been sniped. as Valky appears to be targeting other things at this time. Popping the flaps, going into low-speed maneuvers. ME-410 not entirely comfortable in this zone, but Valky giving it a shot nonetheless. P-39 still up and still down for some turn and burn, definitely having the advantage over the heavy German fighter at this point. Nevertheless, with a pair of 13mm defensive guns that don't have quite the amount of stopping power you want them to have all the time, but certainly a figure greater than the number 0 is better than what other fighters have to offer. And this time, it looks like a Wagner Valkyrie has made good use of those guns. Still being pursued by an enemy fighter, now with his engine leaking oil and arousing the suspicion of fellow Americans across the globe. I smell oil. Somebody needs liberating. As we watch the beautiful crude burning off on the horizon, Wagner Valkyrie straight line speeding away from the combat zone and watching as the enemy plane dips further and further behind. His engine failing, there's no need for trailing this foe, as it looks like time is going to deal a heavier blow than MG-151's and at a much safer salient. It is so much more enjoyable to watch your enemies slowly crash and burn than to face them head on at their own game. There's a life lesson. Sometimes you gotta know when to take your shots and dip out of there. You gotta know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know when the toddler's done, 'cause she'll make a mess. You never make your stir fry before she gets her chicken nuggies. And if she tells you she's done eating, you better go and see. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that quick ace and another couple of replays sent in by fans of the channel. And as always, there's a link to the Discord where I encourage you to engage with me there. Catch you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.